Oh, the heck with it. I'm just going to ramble. This is about health, wealth, and age. You know, I was thinking about this, and it's like, well, okay. I always make a big thing about how my politics is like, you know, I want minimal government when it comes to freaking or cultural libertarian. I want to be a cultural libertarian, not an economic libertarian, but just a cultural libertarian. You know, some people might say, well, libertarian, that's just, that's the whole philosophy in itself. You know, you're not equating it right. But then other people use libertarian as a different form from authoritarian. You know, you're not a you're not a conservative authoritarian. You know, which might be a neocon or a theocon or paleocon, but you're a libertarian. Well, I'm not an economic libertarian because I don't believe you can low cost the public good or low bid the public good. You know, you can't say, okay, what's best for everybody is I take the lowest bid on the public care. You know, you don't always want to throw the most money at it where it isn't effective, but, you know, and leave other places to starve. But with things like the public health, you know, like health care, like freaking, you know, various institutions. You can't low bid these things to make the lowest cost or put a profit incentive with them and hope that the free market will have it help, because there's ways to get around free market when so much money gets involved with law. This is a progressive view, and there's a lot of problems with progressive views. I think the very first and foremost of it is that we don't want to live in a lease society. We want to live in an ownership society, and freedom with that ownership is freaking the freedom to not only do what other people won't find offensive. See, when it comes to strict culture, you know, like, well, my maxim is, if it's race, gender, sexuality, although there are some exceptions, I want minimal government. I don't want SJW, PC culture. I want the very minimal that can guarantee a social ill won't happen, like a segregated South or red zones, you know, where you put blacks and other people in areas because you don't want them in other areas, you know, you won't rent to certain people. A lot of things like that in the past. You know, and to a certain extent with genders, like gender roles. You know, like there's the glass ceiling here. These are men's work. That's women's work. Why are you putting yourself in a job that's freaking you're just going to quit because you're going to have kids? Or freaking you're displacing a man trying to earn a living for freaking, you know, the breadwinner of the house. You know, because the woman's supposed to be at home taking care of the house and having kids. You know, those kind of things. And this is freaking, even though I'm small government, I still consider myself cultural libertarian, but a conservative, so I'm not just dismissing these things because they're not the almighty cult of man progressive, you know, the God worship of freaking humanity's self, you know. You know. I have a lot of suspicions about that. But when it comes to where I'm progressive, it's health, wealth, and age. That, I think, like I said, you can't low bid the common good. And, well, you just have to look around YouTube and see how crazy humanity is, you know? And then you get friggin', you go to some websites like Buy the Issues, and you look up people's friggin' issues, and you get either left-wing pundits or right-wing pundits, each pointing at the other side going, look at that crazy. And they're out there. I mean, they are out there, you know? So, you know, but then again, the further you lean left or right, the less crazy that seems, you know. You know, the transsexual dwarf friggin' running for mayor in San Francisco is not someone in Kentucky. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, in any case, when all this brought about because someone was talking about having a job where the person, I don't really want to keep bringing up this person and bothering him, you know, because he's doing what he wants to do. And frankly, I believe, even though I'm a an economic progressive, I still believe in liberty, freedom, and justice, you know. But if my idea of social justice is economic justice, then I'm wondering, like, you know, this example just kind of throws me. Because it's like, okay, this person worked a job, was an artist, you know, was a successful business owner, but was an artist, and then he's 50 now, you know, and, well, in my opinion, you know, I've got a Jetsons mindset, a Star Trek mindset, you know, not warp drive and all that, but just, you know, a kind of a utopianist view. Hopefully not socialist, because I don't believe, hopefully things should be organized, but he's doing construction now. And that just floors me, because he's like, hey, okay, I'm fine with it. What's your problem with it? Well, my problem with it is construction's hard. Hard work is stressful. Hard work is hard on the body. It's not exercise. It's not getting out and doing jumping jacks and stopping and eating healthy. It's forced work on the body. It's stressful and it's straining. That doesn't increase your health. That decreases your health. Now, you're perfectly free to do whatever you want to do with your body. I believe fully in, well, kind of fully. At least I believe in principle in body autonomy. Let's put it that way. I'm all for sexual freedom, body autonomy. But when you start looking at it as a health issue, well, you could look at anything as a health issue and go, well, you know, we need a strict, you know, authoritarian, draconian measure, you know, of a holistic society. You know, and that could go to me too, a lot of things, you know, time to friggin' put you in the mandatory band camp, Timmy, you know, and lose that friggin' obesity. You know, and I've had a lot of people talking to me about fat pride and fat acceptance, you know, and what a crock of SJW horseshit that is, right? So, but yet, I'm turning around and I'm saying, well, why is a 50-year-old man, and I'm 49, by the way, doing construction, even if he is fit enough to do it in his choice. Well, because where I'm coming from, I've kind of flipped the social justice thing. To me, instead of social justice, it's the other issues of social justice that aren't race, gender, and sexuality. Oh, I mean, as individualist, there's a lot of social issues and economic issues. Especially when you start talking about the environment and things like, labor rights. And this is like labor rights, but it's more like you invert the idea of physical capital in a capitalist system to social capital, because how, in many ways, how much money you have is how much affluence you have. And that gives you social status, i.e. social capital. And I kind of thought of, where have I seen this? Where am I getting this stuff from? And I realized a lot of it is from a lot of Star Trek frigging shows that preach these ideas. I found some friggin' YouTube clips online about friggin' Star Trek The Next Generation and people talking about capitalism and a post-capitalist society. And you start getting into ideas of third-way economics and other futurist ideas about how post-scarcity might work, or how a society can have a resource-rich society, and how ideas like a social capital metric could be applied, or minimum guaranteed income, as opposed to freaking benefits, or food stamps, or welfare, or charity even. How these things apply to that. And when you exchange the idea of social capital for an affluence in capitalism of physical capital, or at least a mixed society, not just a mixed economics, but a way where resources are a type of social justice. Not just an advocacy for social justice, but an actual metric. And I hope I'm just not espousing strict socialism here now, because I'm completely against socialism. But, what's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? Hillary doesn't know. What's the difference between a friggin' futurist, a post-scarcity futurist, and a socialist? I don't really know either, and I don't like that, because you're supposed to have a free market of ideas. But the most critical criticism of anything like a social capital metric, or anything like that, or a resource-rich economy, is or wealth redistribution, is, when it comes right down to it, and why I kind of admire Ayn Rand, even though I don't believe I believe the failing of that, her objectivism, is that you can't low bid the common good, especially when it comes to poverty. But the most wicked thing I've seen with progressives is that they don't understand that wealth redistribution, although it sounds very good, the eat the rich kind of thing, has the problem of you are taking something that someone owns, taking it away from them, and giving it to somebody else for what you believe they need. You know, that it's really a non-sum game. But in fact, right down to it, it is a partial sum game. In other words, not everything is cut and dry that you take from somebody, but everything, well, you know, how do I put it? It's like, if you take from the rich, you are taking what they own. But in a sense, they've kind of taken what they've owned from you, too, by their affluence. And that gets really tricky, a slippery slope. You know, I don't want to live in a freaking nationalist or communist society, you know, where there's no private ownership either. You know what I mean?